Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's story. Meet Emma, a waitress with big dreams, but a reality that constantly pulls her back. Every day, she wears the same second-hand dress and walks through the bustling streets of New York to get to the diner where she works. Emma's days are filled with long hours of taking orders and clearing tables, but she's not like the other servers. She dreams of something more. She dreams of art, of running her own gallery one day. But for now, all she has is the few sketchbooks she keeps hidden in her bag, a reminder of what she's working towards. One evening, Emma gets a call from her best friend Jenny. "You're going on that blind date tonight, right?" Jenny's voice is full of excitement, but Emma's heart sinks. She promised Jenny she would go, but the idea of meeting someone new, someone who might judge her for her worn-out shoes and thrift store dress, makes her nervous. "I'll be there," Emma says with a forced smile, trying to hide the anxiety that lingers in her voice. She puts the phone down and takes a deep breath, reminding herself that this is just another step toward a better life. As she arrives at the upscale restaurant, she feels the weight of her nerves, her clothes, and her life pressing down on her. The gleaming chandeliers, the fine silverware, the laughter and chatter around her, all of it feels so far from the life she knows. She stands at the entrance, her eyes scanning the tables, looking for the man she's supposed to meet. "Table 7. Table 7, she mutters to herself, her voice barely above a whisper. Her heart is racing as she moves deeper into the room. She spots him, a man sitting alone at the back, dressed in a perfectly tailored suit. His dark hair is neatly styled, and he's engrossed in his phone. She takes a deep breath, hoping to calm her nerves. She walks towards him, her hands trembling slightly as she approaches. "Hi, you must be Kevin," she says with a smile, trying to sound more confident than she feels. The man looks up, startled, and blinks at her for a moment. There's a brief, awkward silence before he finally speaks. Hi, I'm not Kevin," he replies, his voice tinged with confusion. Emma's face turns red, her stomach dropping in embarrassment. "Oh my God," she whispers, her hands flying to her face as she quickly stands up. "I'm so sorry, I thought you were someone else." She stammers, the words tumbling out of her mouth. Before she can finish, the man stands up too, looking at her with a faint smile. "It's all right. Don't worry about it." He pauses, glancing at his phone once more before turning back to her. "Actually," he continues, "you know what? Let's make the best of this. Blind dates are always awkward, right? Why don't you sit down, and we can at least have some food? Who knows, it could be interesting." Emma hesitates, still mortified by her mistake. But something in his calm demeanor makes her take a seat again. "All right," she says, offering a nervous smile. They both sit down, and for a while, the conversation flows easily. Emma shares stories of her job, her struggle to pay rent, and her dream of one day opening an art studio. Liam, she now learns his name, is quiet at first, but he listens intently. They talk about everything and nothing at all. She finds herself laughing at his dry humor and feels a warmth she hasn't felt in a long time. It's only when Emma checks her phone that she realizes the time. The message from Jenny pops up, reminding her of her mistake. "Hey, Emma, where are you? I'm at table 7 waiting for you." Emma stares at the message, and her heart sinks. She looks at Liam, her face flushing with embarrassment. "You're not Kevin, are you?" she asks, barely able to meet his eyes. He smiles gently, his expression softening. "No, I'm not. But hey, I'm glad we had this conversation." Feeling mortified, Emma stands up quickly, grabbing her coat and heading toward the door. She's ready to escape the awkwardness she's created, but before she can leave, Liam calls after her. "Wait," he says, his voice warm. "It's all right. Really, don't go. I'm not going to bite. If you want, I'll even pay for the meal." Emma pauses for a moment, her face still flushed, and then she gives a small, reluctant smile before stepping out into the cool night air. She feels a mix of relief and embarrassment, but as she walks down the street, she can't shake the feeling that something unexpected has just started. Stay tuned for the next part. where we find out how this unlikely meeting might change Emma's life forever. Her nerves still buzzed, but something about Liam's calm smile made her hesitate. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad. After the awkward meeting at the restaurant, Emma walked out into the cool night air, her cheeks still flushed with embarrassment. She tried to shake off the moment, but something lingered. She had promised Jenny she would go on this blind date, and here she was, running away from it, again. But as she walked down the street, her mind replayed Liam's calm smile and how easily the conversation had flowed once she'd gotten past her nerves. She couldn't help but feel a sense of relief, even if she had made a fool of herself. The next morning, Emma couldn't stop thinking about the encounter. She told herself it was nothing, just an awkward mistake. But when she opened her phone to check her messages, she saw a notification from Jenny. So, how did it go with Kevin? Was he cute? Emma stared at the message for a long moment, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. She didn't know what to write. She wasn't sure what had happened. Had she embarrassed herself too much? Should she just leave it at that? But then, out of the corner of her eye, something caught her attention. There, in her inbox, was a message from an unknown number. Hi Emma. It's Liam, from last night. I know this is a bit strange, but I wanted to reach out. I hope I didn't make you too uncomfortable. If you're free, maybe we can meet again for a coffee. Emma's heart skipped a beat. She read the message again, as if looking for some kind of hidden meaning. She didn't expect to hear from him, let alone so soon. Was he serious? Was he just being polite? Or was this something more? She hesitated for a moment, then typed a quick reply. Hi Liam. It's totally fine. I'm glad you reached out. Coffee sounds good. As soon as she hit send, a sense of excitement washed over her. She couldn't believe she was going to meet him again, but at the same time, she couldn't shake the feeling of doubt. She was a waitress. What did she have in common with someone like him? He was charming, well-dressed, and clearly came from a different world. She quickly pushed those thoughts away. It was just coffee after all. No big deal. The next day, Emma found herself sitting in a small, cozy cafe, waiting for Liam. She looked around nervously, her fingers tapping against the edge of her cup. She kept reminding herself to stay calm, but her mind raced with questions. What was he really like? What was his life like outside of their brief encounter? And more importantly, what did he see in her? The door of the cafe opened, and Emma looked up. There he was, Liam. But this time, he looked different. Instead of the polished suit from the night before, he was wearing a casual jacket and jeans. His smile was just as warm as she remembered, and as he walked over to her table, Emma felt a strange sense of comfort. Hey, Emma, he said, his voice soft and genuine. Thanks for meeting me again. Of course, Emma replied, trying to keep her voice steady. Thanks for reaching out. They sat down, and for a moment, there was an awkward silence between them. Emma couldn't help but feel like she was still the same nervous girl from the night before, trying to fit into a world she didn't belong in. But Liam didn't seem to notice. He just smiled and began talking about his day, his work, and his thoughts on the city. Slowly, Emma began to relax. His presence, though unexpected, felt comforting. As they talked, Emma learned more about Liam. He worked in tech, and despite his success, he seemed grounded, almost humble. He wasn't the typical millionaire she had imagined. He didn't boast about his wealth, didn't mention any extravagant vacations or high-end purchases. Instead, he talked about his favorite coffee shops, the books he loved, and how he often found himself lost in the city, just like she did. His down-to-earth nature made Emma feel more at ease, and for the first time, in a long time, she found herself enjoying a conversation without worrying about her appearance or what others thought of her. But as their meeting continued, Emma couldn't shake the thought that this was just a fleeting moment. He was a tech millionaire, and she was just a waitress. What could he possibly see in her? She glanced down at her worn shoes, then up at him, trying to gauge his expression. You're quiet, Liam said, breaking the silence. What's on your mind? Emma hesitated, unsure if she should admit her insecurities. I don't know what I'm doing here, she said softly. I'm not like the people you probably know. I'm just me. Liam's smile softened. He leaned forward, his gaze never leaving hers. You're exactly who you're supposed to be, Emma. And that's more than enough. Her heart skipped a beat, and for the first time, she truly believed him. It wasn't about who she was or what she had. It was about the connection they shared in that moment. As the conversation continued, Emma couldn't help but feel that something was shifting. This wasn't just coffee. It wasn't just an awkward second meeting. It felt like something more, something real. And maybe, just maybe, she was starting to believe it. Stay tuned for the next part of their journey. Will Emma find the courage to open up completely, or will she push Liam away before she has the chance? As the days went by, Emma couldn't stop thinking about Liam. Their coffee date had left her with a strange feeling, something she hadn't experienced in a long time. A sense of warmth, of hope, that maybe there was more to life than struggling just to get by. But she pushed those thoughts aside. After all, what could a man like Liam possibly want with her? She was still just a waitress with a dream, nothing more. But every time she saw a message from him pop up on her phone, her heart skipped a beat. It had been a week since their coffee date, and Emma hadn't expected to hear from him again. But when she opened her inbox that afternoon, there it was, a message from Liam. Asterisk, hey Emma, there's a charity gala coming up this weekend. I would love for you to join me as my guest, if you're free. It's a bit last minute, but I thought it would be fun to go together. Asterisk. Emma stared at the message, her fingers hovering over the screen. A gala? Her? She glanced at her reflection in the window, suddenly feeling self-conscious. The thought of attending such a fancy event made her stomach twist with nerves. She wasn't the type of woman who belonged in glamorous places. But the invitation was so unexpected. She hadn't expected Liam to reach out again, let alone invite her to something like this. After a few moments of deliberation, she typed a response. Asterisk, thank you for the invite, Liam. I would love to go. Asterisk, she hit send before she could second-guess herself. The idea of stepping into a new world, his world, felt both terrifying and exciting at the same time. The day of the gala arrived, and Emma stood in front of her small closet, wondering what she could wear. She didn't own any expensive dresses, nothing that would make her feel like she belonged in a room full of high society. She settled on an old, elegant dress she had bought on sale a few years ago. It wasn't perfect, but it would have to do. She pulled on a pair of simple heels and did her best to tame her hair, though it never quite behaved the way she wanted. When she arrived at the venue, her heart raced. The grand entrance to the gala was illuminated by sparkling lights, and the sound of soft music echoed from inside. She could see well-dressed guests mingling, their laughter filling the air. Emma felt a little out of place, but as soon as she spotted Liam waiting by the door, her nerves eased slightly. He was standing tall, his suit looking as sharp as ever. His eyes lit up when he saw her, and he greeted her with that same warm smile she had grown to appreciate. Hey Emma, you look amazing, he said, his voice genuine. Emma blushed, not used to receiving such compliments. Thank you. You look great too. They entered the venue together, and as soon as they stepped into the ballroom, Emma felt the weight of the place. The chandeliers above sparkled like stars, and the long tables were covered in white linens with gleaming silverware. She felt like an outsider, someone who didn't belong in this world of wealth and privilege. But Liam didn't seem to notice her discomfort. He led her through the crowd, introducing her to a few people, and they quickly fell into easy conversation. He was completely at ease in the environment, while Emma couldn't help but feel a little out of place. Yet, every time Liam spoke to her, he made her feel like she mattered, like she was the most important person in the room. As the evening wore on, they danced together, their movements in sync despite Emma's nervousness. For the first time that night, she forgot about the glittering surroundings and the fancy guests. She only had eyes for Liam, and he seemed to feel the same. When the music ended, they stood in the middle of the floor, their hands still clasped together. Emma's heart was racing, but not from nerves. She realized that she had stopped feeling out of place. In Liam's presence, she felt comfortable. Later that evening, they found a quiet spot on the balcony, away from the noise of the party. The city lights below twinkled, and the cool night air was refreshing. They stood there for a while, just talking. Emma felt a sense of peace she hadn't known in a long time. Liam wasn't just a millionaire. He was kind, thoughtful, and genuinely interested in her. It was something she hadn't expected, and it left her wondering if maybe, just maybe, she was starting to see the person behind the wealth. I'm glad you came tonight, Liam said softly, his gaze focused on the skyline. Emma looked up at him, her heart swelling. Thank you for inviting me. She hesitated, then added, I wasn't sure if I belonged here. But now, I think I do. Liam turned to face her, his expression softening. You always belonged here, Emma. You just needed to see it for yourself. Emma smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. She had come to the gala feeling like an outsider, but now, surrounded by the city's lights and the quiet comfort of Liam's presence, she realized that sometimes, all it takes is a little faith to believe that maybe you do belong somewhere after all. Stay tuned for the next part. What happens when Emma and Liam's connection deepens even further? Will their feelings for each other lead them to more than just a temporary connection? After the gala, Emma couldn't help but replay every moment in her mind. The night had been everything she never expected: beautiful, surreal, and most of all, comfortable. She had walked into that grand ballroom feeling out of place, but by the end of the night, she felt like she belonged. And it was all because of Liam. His warmth, his kindness, had made her feel seen in a way she hadn't in a long time. He didn't treat her like the waitress she was, but like someone who mattered. It was a feeling she wasn't sure she was ready for, but she couldn't deny that it was real. The days after the gala were filled with anticipation. Liam reached out to her every day, sending simple messages, checking in on how her day was going. He asked her about her art, her dreams of opening a gallery, and even started to make time for little outings together, whether it was grabbing lunch or walking through the park. Every time they spent together felt like it was deepening something she couldn't fully understand, but didn't want to stop. One afternoon, Liam invited her to his office. At first, Emma was hesitant. She wasn't used to this kind of attention, especially from someone like him. But there was a curiosity in her she couldn't ignore, a need to know more about the man she was beginning to like in ways she hadn't expected. She agreed, though her heart raced as she arrived at the sleek, modern building where Liam worked. She stepped inside, feeling a little overwhelmed by the luxury around her. The office was spotless, filled with towering glass windows and contemporary furniture. Liam stood by his desk, smiling as she entered. "Hey, Emma. Glad you could make it," he said, his tone warm and welcoming. "Thanks for having me," Emma replied, still trying to adjust to the high-end surroundings. She felt a little out of place in her modest outfit, but Liam didn't seem to notice at all. He led her into his office, where they sat down and started talking about work, art, and everything in between. But as the conversation went on, Emma began to realize just how different their worlds were. She was living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to keep up with rent, while he was a tech millionaire, managing a successful company. It wasn't that he made her feel lesser, quite the opposite, in fact. But the reality of their differences started to sink in. As they talked, Emma couldn't help but feel like something was shifting between them. It wasn't just the casual chats anymore. There was an unspoken connection growing stronger with every word, every smile. He wasn't just a businessman to her. He was someone she cared about deeply. At one point, Emma hesitated before speaking. "Liam," she began, her voice soft. "I don't want you to think I'm only here because of, well, you know, what you have. I know I'm not like the people you're used to. I don't belong in the circles you're in." Liam looked at her with a sincere expression, his gaze unwavering. "Emma, you're exactly where you need to be. And as for who you're supposed to be, forget about all that. I'm not interested in your paycheck or your job title. I'm interested in you. The real you." Her heart skipped a beat. His words melted away the insecurities she had been holding on to since that first day. She had always believed she wasn't enough, that her life wasn't glamorous enough to keep someone like Liam interested. But here he was, telling her he liked her just as she was. The moment felt surreal, like a dream she never wanted to wake up from. She had spent so long hiding behind her fears, but with him, those fears seemed to disappear, one by one. Liam reached across the table and gently took her hand, his touch soft but firm. "I'm not going anywhere, Emma," Liam said, his voice full of conviction. "This isn't just about a rich guy meeting a waitress. This is about something real. And if you'll let me, I want to keep showing you how much you matter." For the first time in a long time, Emma felt like she was seeing a glimpse of the future she had always dreamed about. A future that wasn't just about surviving, but about truly living. And maybe, just maybe, that future was with Liam. As the days went by, Emma began to open up more, allowing herself to trust him. She realized that her feelings for him weren't just about the man he was on the outside, the tech millionaire with the perfect life. It was about the man who listened to her, supported her, and made her feel like she could be more than what she had ever imagined. One evening as They sat together at a quiet cafe. Liam looked at her with a seriousness that made her heart race. "I know this might seem fast, Emma," he said, "but I feel like we've already built something special here. I'm ready to take the next step if you are." Emma's breath caught in her throat. She didn't need to hear anything else to know what he was asking. And without hesitation, she nodded, a smile breaking across her face. Stay tuned for the next part of their journey. Will Emma be ready to embrace the love and the life she's always dreamed of, or will her doubts hold her back from something truly incredible? After Liam's words, Emma found herself lost in a whirlwind of emotions. He was offering her everything she had ever dreamed of, but was she really ready for it? Was she ready to leave behind her doubts and open herself fully to him? Her mind raced with questions as she sat there, looking at Liam, who was waiting for her response. It had been a long journey to get to this point, and she was scared of what it would mean for her life moving forward. But then she looked into his eyes, and all her fears seemed to fade away. The warmth in his gaze, the sincerity in his voice, it all made her believe that this wasn't just a fleeting moment. This was something real, something she deserved. She took a deep breath and nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. "I'm ready," Emma said softly, her voice steady but full of emotion. "I'm ready to take that next step with you, Liam." The moment she said those words, a weight seemed to lift off her shoulders. She felt lighter, freer, as if a new chapter of her life had just begun. And when Liam reached across the table to gently squeeze her hand, Emma knew without a doubt that this was the right decision. Over the next few weeks, their relationship deepened. They spent more time together, not just at fancy events, but in the quiet, everyday moments that showed Emma just how much Liam cared. He would show up at her small apartment, bringing coffee and flowers, and they would talk about everything: her dreams, her fears, his past, his goals. It was during these moments, when they were just two people enjoying each other's company, that Emma realized how much she had grown to care for him. One evening, as they sat in a quiet park, Liam turned to her, his expression serious. "Emma, I know this might seem sudden, but I want to be upfront with you about something." He paused, his voice dropping to a softer tone. "I know we've been taking things slow, but I feel like we're already at a point where I can't imagine my life without you in it. I want you to know, I'm ready to make a commitment to you. I want you by my side, not just for now, but for the future." Emma's heart raced as she looked at him, unsure of what to say. Was he asking for more than she was ready for? Was she truly prepared to be a part of his world, a world that was so different from her own? But then she remembered how he made her feel, seen, valued, important. He wasn't asking for anything other than to share his life with her, and for the first time, she realized she wanted the same thing. "I want that too," Emma said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I want to be with you, Liam. I want to see where this goes." Liam smiled, his eyes lighting up with happiness. He leaned in and kissed her gently, the kiss soft and full of promise. It was a simple gesture, but it spoke volumes. It was the beginning of something new, something real. And for Emma, it was the first time she truly felt like she belonged. In the weeks that followed, Liam made sure to show her every day how much she meant to him. He supported her dreams, encouraged her to keep painting, and even helped her secure a small space to showcase her work. Emma's art started to gain recognition, and with Liam by her side, she began to believe in herself more than ever. One afternoon, after an art show that had gone better than she could have imagined, Liam took her hand as they walked down the quiet street, the glow of the sunset casting a warm light over everything. "I knew you had it in you," he said, his voice full of pride. Emma smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I never could have done it without you." They stopped at the end of the street, where a small bench overlooked a scenic view of the city. Liam sat down, pulling Emma gently beside him. He looked at her with a serious, yet loving expression. "Emma," Liam said, taking her hands in his, "I want you to know, no matter where life takes us, I'm here for you. This is real, and I'm not going anywhere." The words hung in the air between them, and in that moment, Emma realized something. This wasn't just a relationship. It was a partnership, a team. They were building something together, and for the first time in her life, Emma felt truly at home. Stay tuned for the next part of their journey. Will Emma and Liam's bond continue to grow stronger, or will the challenges of their different worlds create obstacles they can't overcome? As Emma sat beside Liam on the park bench, the world seemed to slow down. The city buzzed in the distance, but in that quiet moment, it was just the two of them. She couldn't remember the last time she felt so sure about something. The doubt that once clouded her heart had faded, replaced with a growing sense of peace. Liam had shown her a side of life she never thought she could reach. His unwavering support, his belief in her, had unlocked something inside of her. For the first time in a long time, Emma was allowing herself to dream, really dream, about a future that was hers for the taking. But even in this serene moment, Emma couldn't completely shake the doubt that still lingered at the back of her mind. She had come so far, but her old fears, the ones that made her feel unworthy of someone like Liam, hadn't entirely disappeared. She wasn't sure if she could ever truly let go of them, but with Liam by her side, she was learning to trust more and fear less. The next few days were a whirlwind of emotions. Liam and Emma continued to spend time together, deepening their connection with each passing day. They took walks in the park, had dinner at quiet restaurants, and spent countless hours talking about everything from their childhoods to their hopes for the future. But one night, as they sat together in the quiet of her apartment, Emma noticed a shift in Liam's demeanor. He seemed a little distant, lost in thought. "Liam, what's on your mind?" Emma asked, her voice soft. She could tell something was bothering him. He hesitated for a moment before speaking. "I've been thinking a lot about our future," he said, his voice more serious than usual. "I don't want to rush things, but I also don't want to wait too long to make this official." Emma's heart skipped a beat. "Make what official?" she asked, her mind racing. She had no idea what he meant. Liam took a deep breath and looked at her with a gentle smile. "I'm talking about us, Emma. I want to build a life with you. I know this isn't exactly what either of us expected, but it feels right. I don't want to wait until it's too late to tell you how I feel. I love you." The words hit Emma like a wave, her breath catching in her chest. She had never expected to hear him say that, not this soon. She had fallen for him, yes, but the depth of his feelings, the certainty in his voice, it left her speechless. I love you too, Liam," Emma said, her voice shaky. I don't know if I'm ready for all of this yet. You're asking me to take a huge leap, and I'm not sure I can." Liam reached out and gently took her hand in his. "I don't expect you to be perfect, Emma. I'm not perfect either. But I know that together, we can make it work. I'm here, and I'll always be here. We take it one step at a time, at your pace. But I need you to know, I want you in my life, for good." Emma felt a rush of emotions, a mix of fear and hope. She wasn't sure if she was ready to fully embrace everything Liam was offering, but she knew that he was different. He wasn't just asking for her to change her life. He was asking her to join him in a life they could build together. And that felt like something she couldn't ignore. Over the next few weeks, Emma and Liam began talking about their future more seriously. Liam helped her secure a space for her art gallery, the first step in making her dream a reality. He introduced her to people in the art world, and Emma started to feel like maybe, just maybe, she could succeed in ways she had never imagined. But the more she spent time with him, the more she realized that it wasn't just about her career or her dreams anymore. It was about them, what they were building together. One afternoon, after a meeting with a potential gallery sponsor, Liam took Emma out to lunch. As they sat at a small table by the window, watching the busy city life outside, he smiled at her. "I'm proud of you, Emma. You've come so far, and I know you're going to make this gallery a success." Emma smiled back, but there was something else in her eyes, a flicker of doubt. "What if I fail? What if I can't do it?" Liam reached across the table and took her hand. "Then we'll pick you up and try again. But I don't think you'll fail. You're stronger than you think. And I'll be right here with you, every step of the way." It was then that Emma realized something profound. She had spent so long believing that she wasn't enough, that her past would hold her back from having the life she wanted. But with Liam by her side, she started to understand that her past didn't define her future. She was capable of so much more than she had ever given herself credit for. Stay tuned for the next part of their journey. Will Emma's fears hold her back, or will Liam's support help her overcome them and step into the future they both deserve? As the days passed, Emma began to feel the weight of her choices pressing down on her. She had never imagined herself in this world, the world of art galleries, elegant dinners, and million-dollar conversations. But every time she looked at Liam, she felt a sense of belonging that she had never known before. He made her feel like anything was possible. And yet, As her career began to take off and her relationship with Liam deepened, doubts still lingered. She couldn't help but wonder if she was truly ready for everything he was offering her. One afternoon, as they sat together in her small apartment, Liam noticed the hesitation in her eyes. "You're thinking about something, aren't you?" he asked softly, his voice gentle but knowing. Emma looked up at him, her heart heavy. "I don't know, Liam. I keep feeling like I don't deserve all of this. The gallery, the life we're building together, your support, it's all so much. What if I can't live up to it? What if I let you down?" Liam reached out, cupping her face in his hands, and gazed into her eyes. "Emma, you don't have to live up to anything but who you truly are. I'm not here because of what you can give me or what you've accomplished. I'm here because of the person you are. You are enough, just as you are." Her heart fluttered in her chest at his words. He always seemed to know exactly what she needed to hear. But still, the doubts lingered. She wasn't sure if she could ever fully shake the feeling that she was somehow unworthy of him. "I don't want to hold you back," Emma said softly, her voice trembling. "You have everything. Your success, your world, your connections. I'm just me. I don't want to be the person who drags you down." Liam smiled, his eyes soft with understanding. "Emma, you're not holding me back. You're making my life better. I don't need anything more than what we have. We're building something real here, and I believe in us. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be with me." The sincerity in his words made her heart ache. She wanted to believe him, wanted to trust that she was enough. But she couldn't shake the nagging feeling that she wasn't ready for everything he was offering. The truth was, she was scared. Scared of failure, scared of rejection, scared of letting him down. "I'm just so scared," Emma admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "Scared of messing everything up. What if I'm not cut out for this?" Liam reached over and took her hand, giving it a reassuring squeeze. "We don't have to have it all figured out right now. We just take it one step at a time, together. I'm not going anywhere, Emma, and I'm not asking you to change. I'm just asking you to trust me." For the first time in a long time, Emma felt a sense of peace wash over her. Maybe it wasn't about being perfect. Maybe it was about being vulnerable, about allowing herself to trust Liam and the life they were building. It wasn't going to be easy, but maybe that was the point. Maybe the journey itself was what mattered. As the days went on, Emma began to let go of her fears, little by little. She accepted Liam's love, accepted the life he wanted to build with her. And as she stood by his side, watching her gallery dreams come to life, she realized that she wasn't alone in this anymore. She had Liam, and that was enough. Stay tuned for the next part of their journey. Will Emma continue to embrace the future she once thought was impossible, or will the weight of her past hold her back from the happiness she deserves? As the months passed, Emma slowly started to embrace the life that Liam had offered her. She was no longer just a waitress with a dream. She was an artist, a businesswoman, and someone who had found a true partner in Liam. Her gallery was becoming more successful than she could have ever imagined, and with every new exhibition, she could feel her confidence growing. She no longer felt like an outsider in his world. She was starting to feel like she truly belonged. But as Emma continued to flourish in her career, she realized that the deeper she got into this new life, the more vulnerable she became. She had spent years building walls to protect herself from rejection, from failure, from disappointment. But with Liam, those walls were starting to crumble, and it was terrifying. She was letting someone in. She was opening herself up to love, to trust, and it scared her more than anything she had ever felt. One evening, after a particularly successful show at her gallery, Emma and Liam were sitting on the balcony of their apartment, looking out at the city skyline. The night was calm, the air cool and crisp. But there was something heavy in the silence between them, something Emma couldn't ignore. "Liam," Emma began, her voice soft, "I've been thinking a lot about us." He turned to face her, his expression calm, but his eyes searching hers. "What's on your mind?" Emma hesitated for a moment, her heart racing. "I feel like I'm ready for everything, except for one thing. I'm scared of losing myself in this. In you. In everything. I've spent so much of my life trying to make it on my own that I'm afraid I might lose who I am if I depend on you too much." Liam's expression softened, and he reached for her hand. He gently took it in his touch warm and reassuring. "Emma, I don't want you to lose yourself in this. I want you to be exactly who you are. All I've ever wanted is for you to be happy, to be with me because you choose to, not because you have to. We're a team, and that means supporting each other through everything, including the fear. Her heart swelled with emotion. He understood. He wasn't asking her to give up her independence. He was offering her the chance to build something together without losing who she was. I want that too, Emma said quietly. I want to be with you, Liam. But I also need to find my own way. I need to keep believing in myself, in my dreams. I don't want to lose sight of that. Liam smiled softly, his eyes filled with understanding. I don't want you to lose your dreams, Emma. And I'll never hold you back. I'll be here to support you, no matter what path you choose. You don't have to give anything up. I'm here, and I always will be. For the first time in a long time, Emma felt a weight lift off her shoulders. She didn't have to choose between her dreams and her love for Liam. She could have both. Together, they could create something beautiful, not just in their careers, but in their lives, in their relationship. As they sat together, looking out at the city, Emma realized that her future wasn't as scary as she had once believed. She had Liam by her side, and she had herself, her passions, her ambitions, her dreams. For the first time, she was allowing herself to believe that she could have it all. Stay tuned for the next part of their journey. Will Emma continue to build her future with Liam, or will the challenges ahead cause her to question everything she has worked for? As time passed, Emma and Liam's relationship continued to flourish. Emma's gallery became a true success, gaining recognition from artists and collectors alike. Her confidence grew with every step, and so did her love for Liam. They were building a life together, one that was grounded in trust, love, and mutual respect. Emma no longer feared losing herself. She had found a balance between her independence and the love she shared with Liam. Their lives were intertwined, and Emma knew deep down that she was right where she belonged. One evening, as they sat together in their apartment, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of orange and pink, Liam turned to Emma with a look that she hadn't seen before. There was a seriousness in his eyes, but also a softness, a quiet confidence. Emma, Liam began, his voice steady but full of emotion. We've come a long way together, and I know we've both been through a lot to get here. But I need you to know something. I can't imagine my life without you in it. You've changed me in ways I didn't think were possible, and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Not just as partners in work, but as partners in life. Will you marry me? The words hit Emma like a wave, and for a moment, everything around her seemed to fade away. She had never imagined that a simple question could change everything. Her heart pounded in her chest as she looked at Liam, seeing the sincerity and love in his eyes. The man who had once been a stranger, who had entered her life in such an unexpected way, was now asking her to be his forever. Emma's mind raced as she tried to process what he was asking. She thought back to all the moments they had shared, the coffee date, the gala, the quiet evenings in her apartment, the support, the understanding. Liam had been there for her, not because of who she was or what she had, but because he genuinely loved her. With a smile that she couldn't hold back, Emma whispered, "Yes, yes, I will marry you." Liam's face lit up with pure joy as he pulled her into a tight embrace. It was the kind of moment that Emma had always dreamed of, but never thought would come true. She felt the weight of the world lift off her shoulders as she realized that the journey they had started together was just beginning. In the weeks that followed, they began to plan their future together. The wedding was small and intimate, surrounded by the people they loved most. Emma wore a simple but elegant dress, her heart full of happiness. As she walked down the aisle, her eyes met Liam's, and in that moment, everything felt right. Their marriage wasn't just a union of two people. It was the merging of two lives, two dreams, two hearts that had found each other against all odds. Emma knew that the road ahead wouldn't always be easy, but with Liam by her side, she was ready to face whatever came their way. As they exchanged vows, Liam took her hands in his and whispered, "You're my everything, Emma. And I promise to love you, support you, and stand by your side for the rest of my life." "I promise the same," Emma replied, her voice full of emotion. "You've shown me what love really is, and I'm so grateful for you." With those words, they sealed their commitment to each other, knowing that their love would carry them through whatever life had in store. And as they left the ceremony, hand in hand, Emma couldn't help but feel a sense of peace wash over her. She had come so far, from a life of uncertainty to a future full of love and possibility. She had found her place in the world, not alone, but with the person who had always believed in her. And together, they would continue to build the life they both deserved. Stay tuned for future chapters of their journey. Will Emma and Liam face new challenges as they navigate married life, or will their love continue to grow stronger with each passing day?